Hey, what's up guys? Doing some front end work on the 2005 Ford Excursion. Today I'm going to be replacing the upper and lower ball joints along with the hub assembly, and then also replacing the front axle U-joints. So I'm going to start out by jacking up the front end here, and then we'll get it on some jack stands. Like that, and I'll just go ahead and leave that jack kind of under there. Next, go ahead and pull off your wheels and tires. So with your wheel and tire off, let's go ahead and take off the brake caliper and bracket. I'll probably just do the bracket, but not the caliper, and then we'll just slide it off here. So go ahead and come on the back side here. I went ahead and unlocked the steering wheel. That way I can move this. I turned the wheel all the way to the passenger side there. Give us better access to these two bolts here holding our brake caliper bracket on. Those are going to be a 21 millimeter. So go ahead and remove those. So come on the back side here, we're going to have two 21 millimeter bolts holding this brake caliper bracket on. I did go ahead and go inside the cab there, unlock the steering wheel, and I turned it all the way to the passenger side. That gives us a little better access to these. So go ahead and take those off. You can see that one's kind of seized on there, so let me try a breaker bar. As you can see, that one was pretty much seized on there. Had to use a cheater bar. And then as you guys remove that last one, just be careful, because this caliper could fall off the rotor here, and then you can damage your brake line here. So just be careful as you're doing that. Next, I'm going to go ahead and undo this ABS line right here. Just get this out of this little connector here to free that up, because we're going to hang the caliper over here on the leaf spring, and then you can pull off your vacuum line assembly here. So that should free everything. You got another clip up here as well. Just going to do that ABS until we get our rotor off to take that off. So then you go ahead and slide off your caliper along with the bracket. And I'm going to use these yellow hooks here. You can get these off Amazon. They're only like $8, but they come in handy for holding this caliper and bracket. So I'm just going to loop that in there, and then we'll just kind of hang this on the leaf spring right there like that. And then just make sure you're not putting too much stress on this brake line here. So now we should be able to remove the rotor here. I'm just going to turn this wheel back, straighten it out like that, pull off your rotor. Next, grab a 5 millimeter Allen head. Let's go ahead and remove this ABS sensor here. So there's that. Once you get that pulled, just go ahead and lift up on this sensor here, and it should come out of there. And then you'll just kind of have to feed it around this back plate here. So there's what the sensor looks like. Like I said, just kind of feed it through here. And then we'll go ahead and remove this 8 millimeter bolt here, holding the rest of that ABS sensor wire on there. And pull that off. So now we'll go ahead and remove our locking hub here. As you can see, I have aftermarket worn ones, so I need to take it apart. If you guys have the factory ones, you'll just have a little snap ring here that you'll squeeze together, and then it's a big ring, and you'll just pull that ring off, and then you can remove the hub, just moving it back and forth. So let me go ahead and get this off really quick. Okay, and I'll go ahead and pull that off. And then on this style here, I got a snap ring that goes around. Most likely, if you guys have factory hubs, you won't have this. Let me get this off real quick here. And then I can just go ahead and slide this whole piece out. And then inside there, you're going to have a snap ring. So go ahead and remove that with some snap ring pliers. Pull that off there like that. And then you got a series of some washers in there. So if you can pull that out with your fingers here, just keep in mind how these were, so you can put them all back the same way. So you can see you got this like round one here, and then this it's almost like a plastic one. And then behind that one, you're gonna have another one. So if you need to, just use a magnet, because these can be kind of hard to get out of there, like that. Next, we'll go ahead and get the tie rod end separated from the steering knuckle here. So I'm gonna bend the cotter pin upward, and then you should be able to pull your pin out like that. Grab a 21 millimeter. Let's go ahead and remove that castle nut there on the tie rod end. So now we need to separate this tie rod end from the steering knuckle. So what I'm going to do is just take a mini sledgehammer. I'm going to hit right here on the steering knuckle, and that vibration should loosen this tie rod end from the steering knuckle here. You may have to kind of pull up on this as you're hitting it. So just like that, you can see it's loose. So what you'd want to do next is remove your tie rod end from your steering knuckle here. So you just lift this up out of here. But as you can see on mine, I'm hitting on this bracket here. And this bracket was for an old dual steering stabilizer setup that I used to have on this that I'm not running right now. So I will need to remove this bracket. So I'm gonna have to get my jack up under the differential again there and loosen up these U-bolts to get this bracket off. So let me go ahead and do that, and then I'll come back. Okay, so as you can see, you got this bracket out of the way there. And what kind of sucks is I had to remove the U-bolt bolts there, and these are kind of a one-time use. So I may have to get some new U-bolts here in the future, but at least this is my vehicle, so I'm not too worried about it. But anyways, get that out of the way, and then like I said, you'll just pull this off of here. Just kind of let it hang there is fine. And I will be doing another video on this as well. I'm going to replace all this tie rod ends, drag link, and all that. So watch for that in the future as well. So now we need to get the wheel bearing hub assembly off of here. So what you can do is just kind of rotate this all the way over. And we're going to have 4 nuts on the back here. So if you notice right here, you'll have one. That's all 4 of these are going to be 21 millimeter, and then your other one's there. And then we'll get those off, and we'll rotate this to the other side and get the other 2 out of there. There's those 2. And this side, it's kind of harder to get into with my impact, so I'm just going to use a socket wrench to get these ones off. And you can see on this one, the whole stud came out with it. So this nut's kind of seized on there. So that's fine. There's that one. So then just see if you can get this hub assembly out of here. You may have to whack it with a hammer or something. Try to break it free. Or just keep moving back and forth. Pull out on that. You got this little shield here, and just slide that off your axle. Next, you want to go ahead and try and get this axle out of here. You can try pulling on it, but you'll probably need to use like a pry bar here. Just pry on the back side. You can see, just kind of pry it out, and you can see it's starting to come out there. Go ahead and slide that out the rest of the way. And luckily this side is the short part of the axle, because the differential is right there. So next, come up to your upper ball joint nut here. Let's go ahead and get this cotter pin out of here. Let's see if I can bend that down. And let's see if we can get this out of here. And then go ahead and grab an 1 1/8 inch. Let's go ahead and remove this upper ball joint nut here. And Next, go ahead and rotate this, and then grab a 33 millimeter. Let's go ahead and remove the lower ball joint nut here. And all I could find was a deep socket. Couldn't find my short one. Go ahead and remove that. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of WD-40 or PB Blaster, spray down in here just to kind of help loosen some of that. And the top here. So now that I let that sit there and soak for a little bit, I think it's time to see if we can get this separated from the axle here, the steering knuckle, from the ball joints. So I'm going to take this lower ball joint nut and just put this on a couple threads. That way, as we start pounding on this, it's going to drop and not fall all the way down. It'll catch on that nut there. So I'm going to start beating on it down here, and then also on the top there. Just try and vibrate both of those loose to get it to drop down. All right, sorry about that, guys. I just hit the camera with my hammer here. But let's continue on here. I think you can see the bottom's kind of moving there. So we're just kind of stuck on this top one. And since we're replacing the ball joint, it doesn't really matter if we mess up the threads on that. So if you want to, you can hit on that as well. Let's see if we can get this out the rest of the way here. So you can see that's pretty loose now. See if I can get this off now. Take that off and see if we can pound it down the rest of the way here. Just be careful, this will drop on you. And just like that. Go ahead and pull that out of there. So now let's see if we can get these ball joints out. So on the bottom one here, you can see there's a snap ring right there. So let's go ahead and remove that with a pair of snap ring pliers. Go ahead and get on there. Spread that snap ring apart. Remove that like that. And then what I'm going to be using to get this out is a ball joint press. You can rent this from Advanced Auto Parts, O'Reilly's, or AutoZone. Just rent it and get your money back. They have a bunch of different kits you can choose from. Let's see, here's what this one looks like. And then you're gonna have to use a bunch of different combinations of cups and that to press this out, because we're gonna have to press this one out going upward. And then once we get this one pressed out, we can do the upper one. So let me find a combination of cups and this tool here, and we'll see what we need to use to press this out. And then if you take a look here, you can see this one was so bad that the boot just fell off of here. But I went ahead, there was so much grease in here, I went ahead and just kind of scraped it off. That way I can see the actual ball joint and what size I need to use in the cups for this. So just finding the right combination of adapters. I'm going to use this one here. You can see it fits directly around the inside of the ball joint there. And then I'm going to use this one on top, because you want that to go upward, and then that ball joint stud to actually go through this. So make sure that'll go through as that's starting to come up. So use that one and this one. So get that around there, and then go ahead and grab your clamp here. And I went ahead and took out that greaser, because I'm gonna go directly pushing on that. Go ahead and start tightening this up here. And you can see I'm kind of off right there. So let's get this here. So we'll try that right there and go ahead and start tightening that. There we go. Loosen that up, and then as you can see, there is our lower ball joint. So there's our old one. You can see there was a little bit of play. There wasn't much in this one, but these are probably a good, I'd say, I don't know, 10 or 15 years old is how long these have been on this truck. They've actually done pretty good. These are the ones I got from Napa, the premium ones, and they actually lasted a long time. So now let's go ahead and get this upper one off. So for the upper one, I'm going to use actually that same exact cup that I used on the bottom one, and then with the adapter on top. But with this one, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to stick the bottom end of this through the lower ball joint hole there. So kind of like that. And then I went ahead and removed that grease cert on the old one, and we're just going to go up against that portion again, and we'll start pushing right there like that. So let me go ahead and start tightening now. Just like that. Get this out of here. And you can see there's our old upper ball joint. And again, this one wasn't too bad. There was a little play, but the reason I'm replacing these is because this boot just fell off as well. So all that moisture and everything's getting in where I grease it. So that's the reason I'm replacing all these ball joints. So now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just clean up these holes here just with a wire brush and that. Get all this grease and stuff. You can see this stuff's just coated with grease since those boots were leaking. I'm going to get this whole steering knuckle cleaned up here, and then I'll go ahead and come back and we'll put the new ball joints in. Alright guys, so as you can see, got this all cleaned up. Like I said, I just took a wire brush, cleaned on the outside here and then along the inside. Same with the upper ball joint. And then I just kind of took a pick, make sure I got all the rust and stuff out of here where the ball joint actually sits on there. So should be good on that. And then the ball joints I'm going to be using are these Kryptonite. And this is all 4 of them. There's the part number. I got these off of Amazon. I'll put a link in the description for them. But these do have a lifetime warranty, and I've heard nothing but good things about these, so that's why I'm going to give them a shot. And you notice in here, got your upper one. I already just opened it up to take a look. So this upper one does include a snap ring for it. As you guys saw on the old ones, it did not include that snap ring, so we'll see if it'll fit on there. And then here's going to be the lower ball joint there. Same thing, includes snap ring and then grease fitting in that. So let me go ahead and get these out of the packaging here, and then we'll see what adapters we need, and we'll get them into the steering knuckle. So go ahead and grab your new upper ball joint here. Go ahead and stick that in there. And then again, you'll have to find like certain adapters that'll fit. So I think this one here will fit over the top. It's kind of like that. That's going to press down on it. And then I think I'll stick this there. Go ahead and go back through the lower ball joint hole there. Get that on top of there. And I think I'll use this one for right now. As we get close to pressing that in, I may have to put an adapter on this. Not sure yet though. So let me kind of get that on there. Just tighten this up a little bit here. Like I said, you just got to kind of find the right combination. And it's kind of a pain to do because, like I said, the threads are all jacked up on this tool here. So it's getting hard to twist by hand. So I think we're good right there like that. So now we'll see if we can press this down in. So let me go ahead and tighten this up here, and that should suck downward here. looks like we're all the way down in there. And then this is what I was talking about. So they do give you a snap ring, but I'm not sure if maybe, because if you see on here, this shows these will work from 99 to 2023 Ford Super Duties. So I'm wondering if maybe on the like older, maybe the newer Super Duties, that this steering knuckle is just a little bit thinner to where you can get a snap ring on. But as you can see, I am pretty much completely in, it looks like. So let me see if I can go a little more. Okay, so I got that kind of set up the same way here, but this time I'm going to use a spacer right here. That way it can go into this spacer here, the ball joints. And we'll see if we can bring this down any more here. Okay, so just like that, there's the upper one in. And then another thing I was reading on Amazon too was another guy on the reviews was saying the same thing. He wasn't able to get this snap ring on the upper one, even though it included it. So, and then for the bottom one, I'll use kind of the same adapters. I think will work. You can see that kind of fits on there. So stick that in there, and then I'll go ahead and do this one on top. Take this, and you can see I don't have much room on this one either, so let me loosen this up here. So go right there like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and start tightening. So I got that kind of started going in there. Let me go a little more. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't bottoming me out on this. So now you can see we're going to be hitting on this piece here. So now that we're somewhat in, we'll take this adapter again. You get that on there. And then if you guys can get one of these kits, check and make sure that these threads aren't all jacked up, because then you don't have to deal with what I'm dealing with right now. All right, guys, so I got that kind of reset up here, so should be good now. I got that spacer in between there, so that should give us enough room for the ball joint to come out into that spacer there, and we should be able to get it flush. So here we go. So it looks like we're bottomed out there, so let's back this off. And as you can see, that looks good. That gives us enough room to get our snap ring on there. So we should be good. So then go ahead and grab your new snap ring here. Get that around there. You can kind of just get it in place there and then just kind of push it on. Make sure that snaps in there. If you have to, just kind of use a flathead just to make sure that's in the grooves. And looks like we're good. So now before I continue on, let's go ahead and get the axle U-joints replaced. I figured I'll just do this while I have it off. And what you want to do is find, so on the ends of each one of these, there's going to be a little C-clip.
So if you can find it, you see there's grease all on this one, but if you can find it, get on the end of it, and then just kind of take a screwdriver and a hammer. See if you can knock that C-clip off of there. So like that, you can see it kind of coming off of there. So if you get that knocked off enough, you can get kind of behind it. Try to do that without breaking your screwdriver. Let's see if I can knock it off a little more there. There we go. So if you get that off, and then just pry that off of there like that. You'll want to do that to each one of these. So like I said, just find the C-clip here. That one. There we go. So there's all 4 of those. Okay, so what I'm going to use is actually that same ball joint press to press these out of here. And I went ahead and just take some bubble wrap from the ball joint box there. I wrapped up the axle here just so it doesn't get damaged or anything, rubbing on the concrete or something like that. What I'm going to do is take I just got this old 36mm socket, which should be enough room for the cap to fit inside there. So I'm going to use that, and then I'll just use the press here. So I'll take this and I'll just kind of go like that, and then we'll see if we can press that into the socket there. So let me get this kind of started. Again, these threads are junk on this tool here, of course. So kind of set up like that. Let's go ahead and tighten this. Reset this up here. So just kind of like that. Then you can remove your cap here. There's that one. And then if you can, you might be able to get this cap off, but we may have to press on the U-joint and push it out that way now. Because yeah, I don't think I can. It's almost there, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. Yeah, it's not enough, so let me go ahead and press on that side now. And actually, instead of using the press here, I just grabbed a couple blocks of wood here, and let's just see. I got a 24mm socket, kind of fits down in there. Let's see if we can just hammer this back down in there and get that cap off. So just kind of hold it right there like that. You can see it's starting to go there. And there's an earwig. Stupid things. So just keep hammering that. And you can pull that one off like that. Now you should be able to get your axle off from one end here. Just like that. So now we'll do the same to this one here. There we go. Pull that out. Piece of wood there, but there's our old U-joint, and you can see that greaser just fell out of there. So We got both of those off of there. So now we should be ready to put our new ones on. I think what I'm going to do first though is I'm going to just take a wire brush and kind of clean along inside here on both of these. So while I was cleaning this up, I forgot, let's go ahead and take off this seal here because I will be replacing that as well. So you can just kind of mount it in a vise or whatever you need to do. Just kind of tap that seal off of there like that. That's all that does. So there's that seal there, and you can slide that off because I got a new one of those. And then kind of the same thing on this one here, but if you notice there's this little like thrust washer here. So you can get behind that, pull that off first. So there's what that looks like. And you can see you got these 4 notches on the one side. So we'll make sure we put that back on the same way. And then what I'll do is just kind of mount this in the vise just a little bit right here like that. And then I'll go ahead and tap on this seal here. There we go. So there's that seal there, which I'll be replacing as well. Okay, so now we can go ahead and get our U-joint in. So I went with a Spicer from Dana, SPL55-3X. I got both of these off of Amazon. They seem to be the best priced. And they do make a greasable one and then a non-greasable one. I decided to go with the non-greasable one because it seems like every time I grease things, I just overdo it. And with these axles turning all the time, a lot of times if you over grease it, it shoots grease all over the place. So decided to go with the sealed unit one. You can see there's our new C-clips. And then of course our new U-joint here. Like I said, non-greasable here. So I'll go ahead and pull these caps off here. And then I'll probably just use the vise. And then we'll squeeze it together to get them into place here. So go ahead and pull off your caps here. And some of them are kind of loose. The other ones, you may have to kind of just really pull on it. Press down on this plastic and then there we go. So you can see that one was kind of hard to come off of there. But go ahead and pull all those off. And then grab your axle here. We'll go ahead and stick this through. Like I said, try not to get any dirt or debris on these. And then grab a couple caps here. Get those kind of on. It's kind of like that. That was just that little seal thing that came off. So get those ones kind of started like that. And then I'm going to use, like I said, use my vise here. And we'll squeeze the vise together to push those on. So just go ahead and start tightening your vise. And you can see that kind of works on both sides. Kind of like that. And then as you saw, this one's sticking out just a little more. I couldn't press it anymore with the vise there. So I'm just going to set this on the block of wood here. And then I'll just go ahead and hammer that down just enough to where we can get both C-clips on here. Just give it a nice tap here. So you can see that brought it down, and can't see the groove yet for the C-clip here, so let me go a little more. So I'm thinking right there, I can see the groove for that one. and then also the groove for this one as well. So we should be good there. So then grab your other portion of your axle here, and we'll stick that on, get that through. Again, grab your two caps for this side now. Get those kind of in place, and if you have to, you can always just give that a little tap here just to kind of get it started. And then I'll use my vise again. Go ahead and press those on. And you can hear that little outer plastic ring here kind of snap into place as you start pressing these in. So about right there should be good. You can see this one's still sticking out a little bit. So again, I'll take my hammer and hammer the rest. So yeah, you can see that one sticking up just a little more than this one here. So we just want to go in just a little more to see our little groove there. So go ahead and hit that. You can see the groove down there, and looks like now I can see that groove. So we should be good right there on both of them. So then go ahead and grab your new C-clips here and just kind of get that started on there. You have to just use your hammer here and just kind of pop that in place like that. Flip it around. We'll do this other one here. And it looks like you can see that groove's not as big, so let me just go ahead and hit on this a little bit. That just moves it enough to where you can pretty much get this on. And it looks like it may need to go just a little more. And if it doesn't go on all the way, you can take your screwdriver here and just tap it in place. Just like that. Now we'll go ahead and do these two here. There we go. Just like that. That's how you replace the U-joint. So I went ahead and just mounted this in the vise here, because now we can go ahead and get our seals on. So you want to make sure this area is nice and clean here, so your seal will go on there evenly. And then I went with the SKF brand. It's going to be 28600. This is going to be the larger one. I got these off of Amazon. I'll put a link in the description for them. You can see there's what it looks like compared to the old one here. And then to install this, I also picked up this tool from Amazon. It's about 30 bucks, but this sits nice and evenly in there, so you can get the seal on perfect. You can see there's a slot in here for your axle, because this will fit directly over top of this. And then for the smaller dust seal here, also SKF off of Amazon, 21918. And that's what this one looks like, just like that. So now let's go ahead and get this seal on. So this will just slide over the top of this. And then go ahead and slide your seal installer tool here. And you want to make sure that's nice and even. What we'll do is we'll just start pounding on this, get it sit down in there flush. And then also make sure if this fell off, you got this little metal seal on there as well. So let's go ahead and start hitting this down evenly here.
see it's starting to drive on there. My bench isn't too sturdy here, but it's working. So that should be good about like that, because you want to, there'll be a little bit of room where this washer is going to fit on there. So we should be good right there. Let me go ahead and flip this around. We'll get the other seal installed. So I got that all flipped around. So take your new seal here, and there's no special tool for this. So we're just going to kind of have to tap on this ring right here. But what you can do, you can see you can kind of lightly press on this. That way you can bring this lip down so you can get in there and tap on that. So take that over this. Again, make sure this area is nice and clean so it goes on there evenly. Take your little hammer here and just kind of press down on this, and then just kind of lightly tap this on. So just kind of like that, make sure it's fully seated. That's all you do. So now let's go ahead and get our steering knuckle back in with our new ball joints here. And then if this piece here came out when you pulled out your steering knuckle, go ahead and just slide that back in. Mine's kind of seized in there, so I'm just going to leave it. But grab your steering knuckle here, and we'll go ahead and get this kind of in place. Just hold that, get your nuts started here on your lower one. And then on these kryptonite ones, you see you got this little lip here that's going to face upward. So make sure you put that one on correctly. Get this one started up here. So then grab your 33 millimeter, and let's go ahead and get this bottom one snug first. I'm going to get it snug, and then we'll torque it. So just kind of get it snug there. Let me grab my torque wrench. And then you're going to want to torque that to 150 foot-pounds. So quite a bit. Like that. So then move on to your top one here. Get that snugged up with your 30 millimeter. And that's going to be torqued to 69 foot-pounds. And then what you want to do is get your cotter pin in, and if you notice, the hole is going to be right here on the castle nut. So I'm going to tighten this just a little more to see if we can get it through this hole or this opening here on the castle nut. You never want to loosen these, you just want to tighten it. So I'm going to go a little tighter here. You can see we're getting closer there. So it looks like that'll work there. Then see if you can get your cotter pin through there. Then just go ahead and bend that kind of upward, just to make sure that ain't gonna fall out of there. So before I forget, I'm gonna go ahead and install the greaser for the upper ball joint here. Now I'm not gonna use the one that Kryptonite supplies you with. I got some laying around here. I'm gonna use this 90-degree one. That's what I had on the old style there. Just makes it a lot easier with the axle being here. So let me go ahead and throw this in real quick. I'll just need to check and make sure we got enough clearance that this is going to fit in between the axle there. So now we can go ahead and install our axle shaft here. I did take just my wire wheel and kind of cleaned up inside here on the steering knuckle and then on the outside. And then you want to make sure on your axle that this is clean, no debris or anything, along with your splines as well. So let's go ahead and slide this in. Just kind of want to help guide it in there. have to turn it just a little bit to get it to get in there and line up those splines on the back side here. So get it kind of close. Should be good like that. And then you can just grab your special tool there that we had for the seal installer. You kind of just stick that in there and then just kind of lightly tap this in. Doesn't take much. And then you can go ahead and grab your little washer here. Remember the 4 grooves here, that'll face towards the outside. So just go ahead and slide that on. It just kind of fits into that seal there. So next we'll go ahead and get our hub assembly on. Like I said, I am replacing it. So I picked up 2 of these from Kryptonite as well, the whole hub assembly. There's the part number for those. You can see this is for the 99 to 04 Super Duties. And they kind of let me down though, because I went and take a look at this, and there's that yellow O-ring that goes on the back side. And if you can see, this one is actually broken. So I'm gonna check this other one here and see if I can use that one, and then I'll just maybe run to the parts store and grab a new O-ring, because that's the one that goes on the back side right here. Not sure if you guys can see that. You can see that yellow one right there. Unless I can reuse this one, I'll see how bad it is. But yeah, these are a lifetime warranty as well. I got these off Amazon, so I'll put a link in the description for them. And they give you there's like a couple stickers in there. And if you take a look here, they do give you the little card here with the torque specs and all that. So you can see they want you to apply a little high temp grease to the O-ring before installation, even though this one is broken. But yeah, let me pull this one out and see if if that one's broken as well. All right guys, so I opened this one up and this one looks to be in good shape. So like I said, I'll use this one for now, and then when I do the other side, I'll just run to the parts store and grab a new one of those. So on your old one here, let's go ahead and remove this dust shield, because we will reuse that. So I went ahead and got some high temp grease here. Like they say, just go ahead and put some around this yellow O-ring here. And then we'll go ahead and slide that into that groove there. Like that. And then of course go ahead and get your studs out, and we'll go ahead and thread those into the back side of the hub here. So then go ahead and remove this cap here. You can see those needle bearings are already greased. Grab your dust shield here. And let's get our ABS sensor through this. Slide that over that like that. So now we get our hub assembly on here. I went ahead and just put some of that high temp grease on the axle shaft here, just because the needle bearings ride along there on the hub assembly. And you will have to reuse the original nuts for the hub assembly. So we'll get this on, and just make sure your ABS sensor is pointing upward. Go ahead and slide this on here. Get your holes lined up there. Make sure that yellow O-ring seals on there. So then go ahead and grab all 4 of your nuts here. We'll get those started. As you can see, the hub assembly doesn't fully go into there, but once we start tightening those, it'll kind of suck that in there. So we just want to tighten these nice and evenly as well, and then we'll do a torque. And then as you can see right here, looks like we're going to clear the grease zerk there. So like I said, that's why I like using the 90-degree fitting one. Using your 21mm, go ahead and start getting those nice and snug. And like I said, I'm going kind of evenly there, just so it draws this hub in evenly. And then once you get them all snug, grab your torque wrench. Those are going to be torqued to 133 foot-pounds if you can get your torque wrench in here. So now let's go ahead and get our hub back into place here. So you'll have your little round washer first. Followed by this one here. And then another round one here. And then we got our snap ring. Go ahead and slip that on, and then what you can do is take a pair of pliers or a flathead screwdriver. You want to make sure that goes into that groove on the actual axle shaft there. So you can see it kind of snaps into place like that. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of some high temp grease here and just kind of coat these splines a little bit here. Can never go wrong with lubing these up here. And then you go ahead and take your hub here. Go ahead and slide that on. And get it lined up correctly. Go ahead and push that in. Grab your snap ring here, and you're going to kind of work this from the inside first. Just kind of get that shoved under there, and then kind of work its way around. And then just kind of pop it into place like that. And then go ahead and get your hub cover on here. Make sure that spring's in there. Line up your holes here. Get that on there. Get all your bolts started here and get those snug up. Next, go ahead and get your brake rotor on here. And now I will be putting some new brakes on this as well, so watch out for that video. I'll be upgrading to the power stop drilled and slotted ones. So then go ahead and grab your brake caliper and bracket here. And we'll go ahead and just slide that over the rotor. Grab your 2 caliper bracket bolts here. Try to get those started. And then with your 21mm, go ahead and get those snug, and then we'll torque them. Grab your torque wrench and torque those to 166 foot-pounds. And it even says right here on the kryptonite caliper bolts there, 166. Next, go ahead and undo your ABS line here, and then grab your little 8mm bolt here. Get that screwed into the steering knuckle here. And then while you're here, you might as well go ahead and plug in your vacuum line here for your hub, if you still got the automatic hubs. I still just keep it in place just to keep moisture out of there. And then go ahead and start feeding this up into these little grommets here. We will have to remove the old one here. So grab a pry tool, go ahead and pry this out of here, because it comes with a new one. Stick your new one in there. And then you want to come back behind your wheel well here, go ahead and unplug your old one. So you got this little tab you'll want to press in and then unplug it. Sometimes it can be a bear to get off. There we go. Then bring your new one around, plug that in. Make sure it kind of clicks there, and then just give it a tug. Make sure it ain't going to come undone or come in contact with your leaf spring or anything. So now we'll go ahead and get our tie rod end here, put back in the steering knuckle there. Grab your castle nut here, and I'm just leaving that bracket off for right now on U-bolts. I may come back and put it on later date, not sure yet. So go ahead and get this snug, and we'll torque this to 66 foot-pounds. Then once again, we'll get our cotter pin in there, but you want to make sure you got the hole, but you can see the castle nut's kind of covering. So again, you'll want to just tighten that until you get enough room to get the cotter pin in there. So we'll go right there. And like I said earlier in the video, I'm going to be replacing this tie rod and the whole front end here. So watch out for that video here in the future. Get that through there and bend down a tab here so it goes nowhere. And then before I forget, let's go ahead and get the lower ball joint greaser in that they supply you with. You can tighten that up using a 5/16 socket. Just get that nice and snug, not too tight. And if you want to, you can also pump some grease into your tie rod end. Since I'm going to be replacing this within the next couple days, I'm not going to worry about it. Okay guys, so I didn't realize my camera wasn't recording, but I went ahead and just gave the upper ball joint a couple squirts of grease as well, so you want to do that. All right guys, so that's all there is to it. I'm going to go ahead and do the passenger side next. I'm not going to record that because it's going to be pretty much the same procedure. The only difference is the axle shaft itself is going to be a lot longer than the driver's side, just because the differential is located more towards the driver's side. So just be cautious of that. And if I run into any issues, I'll let you guys know, but I'll go ahead and do that side really quick, and then I'll come back and we'll get our wheels and tires put back on. All right, so as you can see, got this passenger side all done as well. Got our new ball joints in, along with our new hub assembly and everything. So passenger side is going to be exactly the same as the driver's side. Like I said, when you pull this axle out, it's going to be a lot longer. So make sure you got enough room to get the axle out. So don't park all the way up against your garage on the passenger side, because you need to have room to remove that whole axle. But other than that, it's pretty much the same thing. So now let's go ahead and get our wheels and tires back on. So go ahead and get both wheels and tires put on. And then of course, go ahead and jack these up and get both jack stands out of there. Then grab your torque wrench. We're going to torque all the lug nuts to 150 foot-pounds. All right, guys, so that's all there is to it. So that's going to go ahead and wrap up the video. Again, this was a 2005 Ford Excursion. Went ahead and replaced the upper and lower ball joints along with the hub assembly, and then also the front axle U-joints as well. And not going to lie, guys, this job is not the funnest to do. It is time consuming. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're ordering replacement parts. You don't want to go with some cheap eBay or Amazon ones that are made in China. So make sure you order quality parts, because you don't want to be doing this 6 months down the road. That's why I ordered those kryptonites. I'm going to give those a shot. Everybody's raving about them. They do have the lifetime warranty, and they're actually built for vehicles with bigger tires than that. And also they're made in the USA as well. So hopefully those are quality parts, and I'm hoping this video helps you out. If it does, why don't you subscribe to my channel, check out my other videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.